morning, everyone. I'll step back a little bit just to clarify. I'm Director of Housing for Family Service, which is based in Burlington County, but we actually provide services to the 9 southern counties. And that's actually a good starting point. I think I'll echo the theme that's been carried out. How do we work together to keep our eyes on the big goals? Basically, takes faith and working together. In my role, overseeing housing, I get to see both sides of it. I'm involved in administration and finance, budgeting, contracting from the state perspective, as well as working directly with clients, tenants, and leasing. We have 175 leases that we are responsible for and individuals we deal with. And we've seen our staff increasingly strapped as we've had to respond to increased oversight requirements, documentation, while trying to meet increasing needs. And really, I'm here to talk about how we've taken those challenges and looked at opportunities for partnership and taken it one step further. So Family Service, as of today, is about a $46 million agency. We have 60 contracts with states. We provide youth and family services, foster care, recruitment, training, outpatient services, group homes, emergency housing, and permanent supportive housing. We looked around and are now embarking on an adventure with Steininger Behavioral Care Services, which is based primarily in Camden County and provides crisis services, mental health services, and Department of Children and Families contracted services. We started this process really back in March. I'm talking a little bit about motivation, addressing the needs that are in the community, being able to really look at mission and how can we better accomplish our mission, how can we expand our core services, as well as really increase new areas of business that we've started to develop over the last couple of years. In some ways, it's a marriage of circumstance. Steininger's CEO, Len Altamira, is retiring in January. Bob Picard, whom I'm representing here, our president and CEO of Family Service, and soon to be now Twin Oaks, was already looking at partnerships in multiple areas. So, starting in March, we signed an intent to merge through collaboration with our boards, through starting with the presidents, and then moving forward to seek out regulatory approval and further board approval through due diligence. We really announced the intent to merge in June, and we're waiting to hear from the state primarily on their interest in continuing all of our contracts so that we can move forward with the merger. So as of January 1st, 2012, we will be Twin Oaks Community Services. We will have a combined budget of just about $65 million, over 90 contracted programs. We'll be serving the 9 southern counties. As of last year, total clients served were about 14,000 unduplicated clients over the course of the year. So this was really a vision to be able to more effectively meet the needs of our community and be able to improve the lives of people who are living throughout southern New Jersey. A little bit about what that means logistically. We really went about this as a merger of equals. It was 2 agencies who are strong, fiscally solvent, who feel that their ability to grow and expand and meet changing needs has been limited, and looking forward to how to more effectively be able to meet those needs. Our board chair and our president and chief operating officers are coming from Family Service staff, chief medical officer, first and second vice chair of our board of trustees, and our chief technology officers are coming from Steininger. For practical purposes, Family Service is maintaining their tax ID number just because we had more contracts going into the merger. But effectively, it's a merger of equals legally. I have a lot of information about logistics in terms of board approval. You know, it's from June through now, it's been getting down to the details. Integration committees working working together, focusing on HR, finance, adult operations, children's operations, housing, technology, all working separately and yet sort of kind of, sharing notes and gathering as necessary to figure out really, from the big, from the, what do our human service policies look like? What are our, what are our 403B plans to the little details of forms and letterhead and communication and email. And, it's been a very interesting process. We've all been learning as we go through what it really takes in terms of the details of actualizing a merger.
May I interrupt you for just a second with a question?
Sure.
It seems to me that if I'm thinking as one of the folks sitting in the audience, I've got an organization and I'm doing pretty well, and there's an organization down the street, obviously not as good as mine, but it seems like if we could really work together, we might actually save something. Did you all, by any chance, because you're being so pure in all of this, did you lose any staff? Did you save any money? What is a merger of equals when you all were bigger and had more contracts than that organization down the street? And so maybe they can process a little bit. How do you decide that it's going to be a merger of equals? What does that mean if you're already bigger?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the organizational structure of Twin Oaks, of the surviving entity. And I think practically, I don't think the state looked at it as a merger of equals just because of the logistics involved in our contracting, that being the Department of Human Services and Department of Children and Families. But it means really looking at what best practices we both bring to the table. I talked a little bit about the integration team process, and that was really focused on what are the best practices each agency brings. What are the areas of difference that we need to resolve? What are the areas where we can adopt each one or the other's practices to say this is going to be the most effective and productive agency moving forward, and this is going to give us the best customer service in the end.
And nobody lost jobs?
That being said, there were some upper administration changes. There were restructures to the organizational chart. The president and CEO of Steininger is retiring as of January 1st, so that's one big change. Chief Operating Officer of Steininger resigned in June and that position is not being replaced. So there are some changes that were inherent in the transition process, and as the agency moves forward, as Twin Oaks moves forward, we're looking at what attrition may not need to be filled, but there were no other specific layoffs. But there are, but then, that being said, on the other side, we were asked where we could save some money in state contracts, and we found savings through